as we're heading out of 2024 and into 2025, as we've talked about the past few years, we always do look backs and plan forwards, right? While also staying firmly planted where we are, because everything we're creating from the now moment. And given the conversation that we had with Dr. Anthony Balduzzi, our guest this month, all around heart leadership and what it means to be a heart leader and embody that, one of the things you and I really started discussing in our review and our forward look was, what does success mean as a heart leader? How do we really identify whether we were successful as heart leaders in 2024? And what does success mean to us heading into 2025 as a heart leader? So as we were having that discussion, was success the same for you this year as a heart leader as it has been in the past? And will success look the same heading into next year from this point forward? Is kind of a big question.
It's a great question. Yeah. I feel like one of the beauties of heart leadership is its fluidity versus rigidity. And when you're in the heart, and we've kind of talked about this, you and Anthony talked about it, is that there's this sense of harmony and connection and abundance, where rigidity has this sense of like scarcity and limitation, right? And so the reason why I'm bringing that context up is because for me, I mean, this year it was probably heart leadership is what it kind of was success for me. It was very different than any year prior, as I'm really being more aware of my own personal evolution into the next stage of where I desire to see myself. Because a lot of our last couple of years, I think you and I could both probably say, a lot of our success around heart leadership has been tied to Sweevera as a whole in some way, and kind of being okay. How do we breathe our beingness into Sweevera? And this, I think, right now, and then for next year, creating a little bit of purposeful separation, in the sense of saying, okay, how do we embody it, but not be so tied to it that there's no like difference in the sense. The reason why I feel like that's important to differentiate is to go back to what you always say, which is being independently dependent. I feel like in the past I kind of lost myself in the business a little bit, in terms of in the doing and the work and all of that. And for now and moving forward, it feels like there's a good, clear delineation between personal success, business success, relationship success, just getting clear and defined and connected, and seeing the overarching love as the common theme within all of them.
And if I can clarify,
Yeah.
because for me, yes, I definitely desired my heart leadership to be very present in what we're creating with Sweevera, because it is a reflection of us. That's why it doesn't feel like work, right? It is an extension of who we are, our way of being. It's also a reflection of our community and their way of life and their way of being. So it's all of us coming together. But there was this sense of personal responsibility for creating the structure from which that foundation, that strong foundation, could build, right? And if that framework isn't there, it's like any building, right? We're the architects. And if we haven't created a strong architectural diagram for it, so that as we're building it, it all falls in or it all falls apart, then yes, in many ways, I wasn't being the representation of the heart leader that I know myself to be. I wasn't looking out for the cultural integration or the things that the generational integration, all of these things that we have to be aware of when we're looking at 1,000-year plan for an organization that we don't even know what's going to happen 200 years from now, let alone 1,000 years from now. So we're setting a framework that's very heart centered and nurturing and encompassing. But I also, my success wasn't tied to, personally, my success wasn't tied to Sweevera. I felt very successful when I made you smile. And I understood that you felt the love that I was sharing to you, with you, and for you. And so I did fortunately have the delineation in my own personal life between here's what personal success feels like for me. My son knows that he's always supported, even if he's being a little bonehead at the time, which happens. Let's be honest, we're all little boneheads sometimes. So there was that. But then there was the integration of that reflection into what we're creating. But it all came from that. Is this the greatest reflection of love, compassion, curiosity that I can be? And if it wasn't, then that was my success metric, right? But that can expand, as you said, as I'm heading into next year. There's other things that I could add to that at this point that I wasn't necessarily doing that can help me grow even more.